Annul, to make void. To annul is to make void. The word null means nothing. Annul means to make something into nothing. When used in relation to contracts, to annul a contract is to make it void. Invalidate the contract or do away with the agreement entirely. We might have heard of having a marriage, parentheses, which is an agreement, end parentheses, annulled. To annul is to make void. Assessment roll. County tax collector's official list of all properties and values. The assessment roll is the name of the official list held by the county clerk of the properties and tax values for which property taxes are collected. For small counties, the list can be held on a single piece of paper. For large counties, like Los Angeles County, a computer database is required. The rules for property tax values are that the most recent selling price of the property establishes the property tax base or basis. From there, the value can only be increased a certain percent per year. The assessment roll is the official list of properties and tax values within a county. Condition. What will happen if a promise is not kept? Condition is from the commonly used covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CC&Rs, agreements of common interest developments, parentheses, CIDs, and parentheses. A covenant is a promise to do something or simply a promise. A condition is much like a covenant, as it is also a promise in the form of a requirement and sometimes will include what will happen if the promise is not kept. Related words: covenants, conditions, and restrictions, parentheses, CC&Rs, and parentheses. Credit union, financial association of people in the same occupation. Through a charter managed by the National Credit Union Association Board, NCUAB, people in the same occupation can form a financial association called a credit union. Individual depositors' money and other money is used to loan back to members at better than market interest rates. Deposits are insured by the National Credit Union Share Insurance Fund, NCUSIF. Typical credit unions might represent teachers, engineers, firefighters, police, a particular company, etc. Title: piece of paper that is evidence of ownership. Title is a piece of paper which shows who owns a property. Tenancy is the details of how title is held, or details of the relationship of the owners listed on the title. If there is only one owner, then tenancy is not an issue because tenancy describes the relationship between two or more owners. The types of tenancy are common, joint, partnership, and community property. Title is a piece of paper which shows who owns a real property. Arranger of credit. Third-party loan broker or loan originator. The typical parties to a real estate transaction include the seller, buyer, brokers, parentheses, one from seller and one from buyer, end parentheses, escrow agent, and loan broker, parentheses, among others, end parentheses. The loan broker can be called an arranger of credit. The loan broker makes her money from the companies who provide funds for the loan or in reselling the loan once it is originated. Loan origination has as its root the loan application, which is the initial document filled out to arrange credit or financing for a real property. Synonyms: loan broker, loan originator. Related words: loan application. Branch offices. The broker can open branch offices that are under his license. Brokers can open what are called branch offices. Branch offices are managed by an agent with a broker's license that is registered with the state under the employing broker's license number. Related words: brokerage. Closed sheathing. Roof or wall slats placed edge to edge. Sheathing is the layer of wood between the roof rafters and the building paper, which is just under the roof shingles. Sheathing is slats of wood approximately 2 to 4 inches wide, running perpendicular to the pitch or slope of the roof. Open sheathing has an inch or two gap between each of the sheathing slats. Closed sheathing has no gap between the slats. Other applications of sheathing can be on walls or on excavated trenches, which need to have their walls held back while work is done in the trench. Closed sheathing is sheathing slats that are edge to edge with no gap between the slats. Antonym: open sheathing. Eaves, overhanging portion of a roof. Eaves are the overhanging portion of a roof. The space under the eaves is often what is of interest in most discussions involving eaves. Any space under an eave has to be on the exterior of the home or structure. For example, quote, "The bees had built several active beehives under the eaves of the home," end quote, should conjure up images of beehives under the overhanging roof portions at the top of the exterior walls of the home. Oftentimes, attics are vented to the underside of the eaves of a home, and if vent screens are not maintained, flying critters can gain access to the attic through such, quote, "eave vents," end quote. So a follow-up question might be, quote, "Are the beehives under the eaves or up in the attic?" end quote. An answer to whether the eave vent screens are in good repair would probably suggest the hives are up under the overhanging portions of the roof, or at the top of the exterior walls, under the overhanging portions of the roof. Eaves are the overhanging portion of the roof. Intention or intent. Acting with clear, singular purpose of mind. Intent or intention is the purpose of actions and thoughts. Where intent comes into question is when either the actions or the outcome of a process seem to end up in a different manner somehow than what was expected. Intention can change through a process. For example, a buyer makes an offer, the seller accepts, escrow is opened, and earnest money is deposited. The earnest money is an indication of intention. If the buyer loses his job during escrow, the escrow falls out. We understand that the buyer's intent changed because of an unexpected event. Given no changing circumstances, however, intention is acting with a clear and singular purpose of one's mind.